Hello everyone, thanks again for tuning in to my channel and video. So I'm back again, this time round with Hot Toys Talk video. I think it's been a long while since I did such a video. Now, why am I doing this video, right? It's precisely because of the recent pre-order of the Mark 85 from the Endgame, and of course Thanos from the Endgame movie as well. I think this time round, I mean, it's not I think, it's definitely a fact that this time round they have the armored Thanos. So maybe let me set a bit of a context here. Now, today is 3rd of April, which is Wednesday. So just last Saturday, which is 31st of March, sorry, I think it's 30th of March, on a Saturday night. I think Hot Toys suddenly announced the release of this figure together with the armored Thanos from Endgame. So very quickly, Sunday and Monday, which was the 31st of March and the 1st of April accordingly, the figures, or these two figures, were opened up for pre-order in Hong Kong. And obviously, of course, it's opened up to VIP first, and the public only got to order this toy, or even the Thanos one, on yesterday, which was 2nd of April, keeping in mind that today is 3rd of April. So there was a long queue, and I think it's one of the longest queues to be seen. I mean, I won't dare to say for certain, because I myself, I have only collected, as in started collecting Hot Toys slightly more than 2 years ago. But I think it was really interesting and worth my time and effort to create this video. So a bit more pictures here. Of course, official pictures from Hot Toys, so credit goes to Hot Toys, as I'm using these photos to create this video. So there you have the back view of the Mark 85 die-cast, of course, the head sculpt there, and of course we have the armored Thanos. A few more photos before I go on to the main topic. And so this was the Facebook post on 16 Republic. Of course, credit goes to the owner or the author of this post and the people who have commented on this post accordingly. I thought there were many interesting facts here, so I really wanted to share or comment or even highlight or emphasize on what they actually said. So over here it says here, I think this I would say brother here, John Barnes, big shout out to you. So he started this post by saying that just some insight into ordering from secret base here in Hong Kong. So my Hong Kong compadres can correct me if I'm wrong anywhere here. So Mark 85 opens for pre-order to the general public today, which was yesterday. So today is the second day it was open to the public. So Monday was for VIP, which is a membership you can only get if you spend a certain amount, so on and so forth. So the main thing is it was open for VIP, but correct me if I'm wrong, I think Secret Base is also open on Sunday. So I think both Sunday and Monday were open up for pre-order for VIPs, and then Tuesday, which was yesterday, was the first day for the public to pre-order, and today's a Wednesday, the second day for the general public to pre-order. So Secret Base opens only at 1, but by 7 AM there was already a long queue at Sino to get into Sino Centre Mall, which only opens at about 11. So the mall basically opens at 11 and Secret Base opens at 1 PM. So they're talking about a famous long queue up the stairs, but he can't be sure how many are actually collectors or how many are actually there, paid by others to queue or to do scalping, of course, sell at a profit. And his friend sorry, maybe before that. So a smart person or how do I put it, an entrepreneur or business-minded person would bring along 5 of his friends so that he could sell 5 of them within a day. Or sorry, maybe not within a day, but sell 5 figures quickly. So just one of his friends sold his for a profit for about $120. That's quite a lot. On top of course, the cost price of the figure. So why so much money and why queue up? So he was saying, John Barnes was saying that if I get to Secret Base at 5 p.m. after work, most likely he'll still have to queue anyway and yet miss out on the 3 p.m. cutoff. So it seems like I think, if I'm not wrong, actually I think I'm right because I've done some research before this video. So the cutoff means the first batch. So if anyone pre-ordered after 3 p.m, they will receive the second batch. So yeah, sorry, so it says here second batch indeed. So looking at Infinity War, Doctor Strange and Black Panther, which came out in January, he still doesn't have them. So Mr. John Barnes still doesn't have them because he ordered at the second batch. And over here, looking at the queue at if I'm not wrong, this was the queue at 7 a.m. Am I right? Yes, by 7 a.m. people were already queuing up. So there's a queue here, and queuing is actually worth it for those who want their figures sooner, of course, like myself. Then he moves on to talk about Sideshow. How about Sideshow? So collectors outside of Hong Kong can order and get a first batch, but have to pay $100 US dollars more, depending on how they use their points as well. I'm not sure how Sideshow works, but I think they have some reward, loyalty, membership point system that many Sideshow buyers or Sideshow customers have always praised for. So Sideshow's reward system is what draws the customers back. And Doctor Strange was popular and there was a big queue, so I think John Barnes chose to avoid it, but yet because of avoiding the queue he had to wait 4 months more. So is it worth queuing for Iron Man or Thanos? And is it okay, so let me read this in clearer, right? Is queuing today for Iron Man and Thanos worth the chance of getting in before the cutoff? I'm thinking about it. Feel free to ask questions or correct. So I think he's trying to say that he might not be able to go there before the cutoff at 3 p.m, so he might have to wait for the second batch. So it seems like, my understanding, if the moment you miss the first batch, you might have to wait up to 4 months to get your figure, which is too long. In my opinion, it's too late. Alright, let's move on. Alright, there's a lot more comments here, but I think I'll just highlight the main ones. So this person asked, Mark Low asked, is it important to get the first batch? I think it does matter to some collectors like myself as well. So it might take up to 4 months, which is too long. And you can see here, so it seems like John Barnes is a toy photographer on Instagram. So he's comparing it and likening it to the analogy of a live football match. You will want to watch the live football match and not wait for a month later when everyone else has already talked about it. So I completely agree, or I can empathize or feel what John Barnes is saying. Is like, even myself as a reviewer or unboxer of hot toys, I think it is important to get my toys early. So maybe I move on, right? I think it's a bit more about the Singapore context. Many Singapore collectors have speculated or tried to understand why we got our figures so late. So usually we receive our figures at least 1 to 2 months or even up to 4 months later. So we have always speculated that it is because the Singapore market, they try to gather all the shipment first, and then they ship at one time all of the Singapore shipment at once, because in that way it will be cheaper. But it seems like that speculation or the explanation may not be entirely accurate, because it seems like Singapore has been getting the second batches, which explains the 2 to 4 months wait. So I think many Singaporean collectors have been very upset, thinking that be it the main distributor or the flagship distributor in Singapore, or even the other smaller distributors in Singapore for Hot Toys, have been trying to consolidate the shipment so that they get a cheaper shipping price, and at the same time earn more money or increase their profit margin. So I think myself, including other collectors, were very upset, thinking that they were trying to cut down costs on shipment. So this mindset or this explanation might be entirely wrong, or erroneous, I would say, full of errors, right? That's what it means, right? Anyway, yeah. So I think it's more so that Singapore has been getting the second batch of Hot Toys. So over here it also says, John Barnes continues to say that yes, you don't mind waiting an hour or 2 or even 5 hours, if you ask me, if it means saving. Okay, over here it continues to say 3 to 4 months of wait, exactly, man. Oh, but he continues to say he will wait for 5 hours, but I think I don't mind waiting for 5 hours. So another collector here talks about Canada, okay, having their shipment even later than most countries, right? So over here, something very interesting as well about Sideshow. So Eric Cole moves on to say that Sideshow also gets their Hot Toys in batches, so their priority will be their own online orders before local US wholesale accounts and Canadian wholesale accounts. So if I'm not wrong, yes, definitely I've read before many times as well, or seen before many times, that Sideshow is the main distributor in North America and in Canada. So they will rather fulfill their own orders first, make their own customers first, right? Then make the customers of other shops or distributors happier. So same thing, takes up to 3 to 4 months before the orders are fulfilled. So Iron Man is a saturated market, of course, but I think Hot Toys do produce beautiful Iron Man figures. So I guess it's worth the gap, even the price sometimes, even though it is really, really increasing and skyrocketing. So yep, as usual, if there are so many flippers, right, as what Leslie Chong here says, then the die-hard fans will have zero tolerance for waiting. Definitely must have it on the earliest possible available day. So I think it's difficult to wait, if you ask me. Yeah, as collectors, we want to get it as soon as possible. So over here I highlighted, so thankfully it might not always be 4 months of wait. It might just be 1 month of wait for the Hot Toy, even though it might be in the second batch. Now pardon me here, some of the comments might not be in order, but they are all within the same thread here. Alright, yeah, definitely retail will be more expensive, so pre-orders would definitely be a good strategy or a good idea to buy first, because if I'm not wrong, many Singaporean collectors as well, they tend to pre-order first. If they don't want to keep it anymore, they can still sell it at the pre-order price or even higher at the pre-order price and earn some money, earn some profit. So as usual, I think differing opinions. Some are willing to wait, some are not. So Jenkin Wong here, brother, big shout out to you. I think you recently subscribed to my channel. Thank you for that. That's very encouraging, and I think he's a very active collector in Hong Kong. He's got his own YouTube channel as well. So I didn't really know this until I read his comment. So actually he says some resellers hired people to wait in line. A secret-based policy only allows one person to to only have one purchase. So if they want more, they might need to hire 5 people to place 5 pre-orders. Sorry, pardon me, it might not be in order, but it's the same thread. So John Barnes continued to say here that Sideshow does allow people to get the hot toys within 3 weeks of Hong Kong release. So I mean, yeah, I think there's a shipping time and there is transportation time, so I'm never too sure how Sideshow or how early Sideshow gets his shipment. Even in Singapore, sometimes it seems like it's faster, sometimes it's slower. I mean, there might be other factors as well, like the weather that affects shipping time. So yeah, usually it's about 1 to 2 months behind. It varies. And okay, so Jenkin Wong continues to say here, my guess, Hot Toys releases first batch to Secret Base, of course, and then second batch to Sideshow. Thus Hong Kong collectors may have to wait for months before they get the second batch. So I think it's really a matter of priority of Secret Base, because I think there's a huge market or huge customer base in North America. So I think even the second batch really varies in the waiting time. So I guess, sorry, going back to this, so I guess the second batch may take between 1 month to 4 months. Yep, between 1 to 4 months of wait. So oh my gosh, that definitely means, right, if we can get the first batch, we must try to get the first batch if it is possible. If not, we'd have to wait at least 1 to 4 months. Very unpredictable and very long wait. Yes, my dear budget stuck here, or I think he's decided to call himself Anthony stuck here. Big shout out to you too. Really like to read your comments and your posts. So he says here, back in May 2015, the police were called in. Even the building management were called in because of the disturbance caused by the queuing for the Mark 45. Now, maybe just a quick note here. If you think about this, right, the Mark 45 was released about more than 3 years ago, and yet the hype completely died down and the prices really crashed back to the pre-order price. And even there were problems with the figure's hands, which turned pink, very similar or exactly the same as the pink panties issue that always have, or the plastic earlier versions of Iron Man always have. So I guess sometimes maybe it's worth the wait. So I'm really trying to balance the argument here, or my opinion here. I guess for me as a collector, I'll definitely want to get it first batch, but sometimes if we have to wait, we have to wait. I mean, ultimately it's just a hobby, it's just a collection. Maybe we shouldn't take it too hard. Yeah, so I think John Barnes was really funny here. No, the police or the building management were not there to keep the peace. They were there to pre-order as well. And of course, the classic comments from Anthony stuck there, or budget stuck there. They are also queue jumpers. So same issues there, 4 months, second batch. Alright, I think I'll move along in this video. This video has been quite long already, so sorry, a bit of a repetition here by my dear Mr. Jenkin Wong. So over here, Anthony Stark continues to say that, yep, there will be some drama because when the building opens, you have to take the lift up to the 20th floor, which means the accurate queue will then be lost. So I think this is very, very discouraging and scary. Can you imagine queuing up outside the building? Just now, like what I showed you the pictures in the streets, and only to lose your queue priority in the building. Alright, that's very disappointing. So Jenkin moves on to say that yes, they can sell for profit nowadays, right? They resell it overseas, and people overseas are more than willing to buy, and that's what I think drives prices up. The want to get the first batch of Hot Toys. So over here, I think to summarize what Anthony Stark or Budget Stark is trying to say, because different figures really have different demands, so it explains the queue as well. So he explained that he didn't go on Sunday because he was with his family, so he ordered on Monday. So he queued at 12 p.m. before Secret Base opened, and it took me 30 minutes as most of the rush was on Sunday. According to Secret Base staff, the queue on Sunday went down to the 6th floor, so I think it was a very long queue on Sunday, keeping in mind that it was the first day. So I think our dear Anthony Stark is a VIP himself as well, right? If I'm not wrong. So the general public will definitely not be getting the first batch. Yep, I totally agree, because most of it will be snapped up by the VIPs. So he moves on to say that there are actually 3,000 VIP members in Hong Kong. That's 3,000 figures in the first batch being taken up. So I don't know how many more figures there are after this first 3,000 left for the public to order. So, and then he moves on to say, of course not all VIP members would order, but they will definitely order, right, to sell it to friends or to shops who want it early. Thanks for that great points there, Mr. Budget Stark, aka Anthony Stark. So this is the famous or infamous queuing of up the building, right? Yep, I've seen before such images. So maybe just a quick note here too. So I think in Singapore we are fortunate, we just have to use our app or go online to pre-order from the various distributors of Hot Toys in Singapore. But then again, we are getting only the second batch or later batch. We have to wait up to 4 months. That's very, very sad. Very sad. Too long. So over here, so this guy is paying people 200 Hong Kong dollars to go buy this figure for him, which is about 25 US dollars. If he gets 4 people to do it, he'll probably make about 300 US dollar profit. And if you think about this, right, I totally agree with Anthony Stark here. It's a very risky business model, very low returns. So I don't think it's a very smart or lucrative move for that matter. Yep. And so Jenkin Wong, I think this is another important information. So at least Secret Base is doing something, giving off tickets to make sure that people who actually queued or were in line will receive their figures. And yep, I think I mentioned this before. Alright. Sideshow fulfilling their own accounts first before their wholesale accounts. So this is the second part of my video actually. So Jenkin Wong was there yesterday, 2nd of April. So I think he is, pardon me brother, but I don't think you're a VIP, right? That's why you only went there when the queue was opened up for the public. So he moves on to say how long the queue is. And this, keeping in mind, right, this is already after the sales or pre-ordering has been opened up to the public. So you can see here, long line, at least 1 to 2 blocks away. So Secret Base is here, if I'm not wrong here, right? So it's actually more than 2 blocks of queuing. So he's saying here that only 5 out of 7 of 10 are actually are not genuine collectors. They are just resellers. And yep, it's really sad if the true collectors wait so long and yet you know, they are there to really want to order the pre-order the figures that they want. Yeah. So see here, collectors usually pre-order 1 to 2 weeks later, but we have to wait for extra 3 to 8 months when they actual. So I think it's trying to say that basically as collectors we have to wait too long for the toy. And then over here, so Jenkin Wong moves on to say that, you see, there are actually a lot of hired people, South Asians. So if you ask me, right, I mean, I'm definitely not trying to be prejudiced or racist or anything for that matter, but they look to me like domestic helpers, maids. It's like hired guns to kill up for the toy. So I mean, a lot of times it's really back down to market forces. If there's a demand, there'll be a supply. Then people will definitely do such things, right? Yeah, for money. That's why it is a capitalist society or economy for that matter. Yep, that's the end of my video. Sorry, of my PowerPoint presentation slides for that matter. So just a few quick pointers more, and I guess finally understand now why Singapore always gets its stock so late, like I explained earlier, 4 months later. So I guess only VIPs will really get their toys early, and it is not easy to get the first batch of toys. So for people like myself or Instagrammers or people who always take photos and videos of their toys, I mean, the earlier we can get the toys, the better. But oh well, unfortunately most of us seems to be getting the second batch. So I just wanted to use this time to share some information with everyone regarding the badges of Hot Toys that are being released. So just want to wish everybody happy collecting, and maybe we don't take it too hard if we can't get the first batch of toys. That's what I keep telling myself. So that's all from me, everyone. I think it's been a long video. Thanks so much for watching, and don't stop collecting. Goodbye.